Welcome, Robert.
Asante sana.
Episode 6.
Thank you so much.
Karibu sana. Viewers, this is Career Conversations with Ken, episode 6. We will be discussing job interviewing experience and lessons. Robert here has had experience on both sides, both as a candidate in a job interviewing episode and also as a panelist interviewing other candidates. He has rich experience that he wants to share with us as we move along. And we are going to start, Robert. Please.
Thank you.
Most of our viewers are young professionals.
Yes.
Who are interested in building their careers.
Yes.
And as you know, in the labor market, job interviewing is the way to start.
Yes.
It starts from there.
Yes.
Yes. Please share with them your experiences, starting with your role as a candidate in a job interviewing session.
And I would start by saying, Ken, that career growth is actually not about qualifications. It is about how you navigate your interviews. And so just like other people, I also started from as an intern. I also started as an intern, and over the years I have grown to leadership positions whereby I've coordinated programs. I've also been a project manager. But this then didn't come all of a sudden. This was very intentional.
Progressive,
yes. It was progressive and very intentional. Along the way, somewhere I had to intentionally capacity build myself to make sure that I become ready for this particular position. So you have to take in other self-learning issues
sessions,
of adding skills here and there. But then today we want to share with our viewers, as you have said, about as a candidate. And as a candidate, Ken, to start with, I will say I have had two experiences of being a candidate in a job interview. One is early career interviews. Where
when you were starting
when I was starting. And in early career interviews, I would tell viewers that it's actually not about knowledge. It's about conviction.
Yes.
Interviewers are looking for, are you convinced?
And confidence.
Yes, conviction and confidence. Yes. They are looking at, are you actually available for this job? Are you willing? Yes. Do you know about, for example, if it is a community work, do you know about the community that you are yet to be interviewed about? A little bit of the organizational profile,
background and challenges they are dealing with. So what you are telling our viewers, Robert, is about apart from just applying for a job and eventually securing an appointment for interview, there is need for a job candidate to actually engage in research about the organization they are going to interview with.
Thank you, Ken. Actually, there are 4 key stages. The first stage is that when you see a call, a call for an advert actually calling for applicants. The first number one thing that you need to do is to research and look at the job advert and look at where do you fit in. Look at your CV and just make it to suit the call.
Tailor your
CV to suit the call. Then after tailoring your CV to suit the call, then you need to develop the response to the call. Make your response be convincing enough. Because this is a competitive...
That you are the candidate.
Yes, this is a competitive position. Thousands of people are actually applying for this particular job. So let the organization know that you are the real candidate they are looking for.
That's about positioning.
Exactly.
Or in other parlance, we will call it packaging yourself for the job.
Exactly.
Yes, packaging yourself. And that is vis-a-vis the role requirements.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Once this is done, and you have received an invitation to present yourself either physically or online for an interview, you need to do thorough research. One, in preparation of what are some of the questions that you will be asked in this particular interview. Two, what is this organization that you are going to? What is the organizational profile? What are some of their thematic areas? What are some of their governance structure? Because these are some of the common questions that you will be asked. You really can't present yourself for an interview in an organization where you literally don't
have no clue about even what they do. Even the leadership structure.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. There is a common question about even mission and vision statement of the organization. you need to know this. You need to know their core values. How then do this resonate with you as an individual? So that when you come to this particular interview, you also coming well prepared that you're going to convince this panel that you are the candidate they are looking for.
So in your experience as a job candidate, that time when you were starting up,
yes,
were you able to do all this?
As you start, part of this...
or you learned in the process?
Part of this, I will tell you that I learned, and I actually applied this in my middle level to leadership interviews.
Yes.
But in my early career interviews, you will realize that you don't do much of thorough research because you haven't had the experience.
There is also the excitement that, I'm just out of college and I have an interview.
Exactly. And one thing that I would tell the beginners outside there, that treat each and every job interview as an experience.
As an experience.
There is a lesson you're going to learn, whether you get positive feedback or not. But don't repeat the same mistakes that you did when you are given another second chance in another job interview. So it is a learning process. As you continue doing your job interviews, you continue building your confidence, you continue knowing how to articulate issues. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So that was actually my early career learning.
So were you successful in this? Or how many of those interviews do you remember that you participated in?
Of course, as a young man, a young lady searching for jobs, you will actually submit so many applications. Yes. Some of them become successful, some of them do not. But in all that, I can say there are a number of them that I was successful, there are a number of them that I got regret. But these regrets were actually points of learning and actually getting to know what can I do better in the next interview.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So viewers, this is Career Conversations with Ken. You are listening to episode 6, where we are discussing job interviewing experience and insights. And Robert here is sharing with us his first-hand experience at job interviews, both first as a candidate.
Yes.
And what we are learning from the ongoing conversation is that it's important for a job candidate to have confidence, but at the same time, research about the company. Exactly. Don't just carry yourself once you've gotten an interview invite to go for the interview without adequate preparation.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay. Let's do.
Thank you, Ken. So when you continue getting these jobs, then progressively you move to mid-level and leadership positions. So you will be applying for positions that now need a lot of strategic thinking. When you get to these interviews, you find that there's a shift on how questions then are being asked.
So you have interviewed for a strategic role.
Exactly.
Where you are going to lead a team.
Exactly.
Oh,
now you becoming,
share with us that experience.
You're becoming a team leader now. Yes. So in this, most likely in this kind of interviews, my experience has been that now when you go to these interviews.
What was the role title?
Project coordinator.
Project coordinator.
Yes.
Okay.
Project coordinator. In project coordination roles that I've done interviews, the interview questions are actually structured in a way that they test your strategic thinking, number one. They test about your understanding of budget oversight, because you're going to be a budget holder. As a coordinator, you're going to be a budget holder.
Yes.
So you really need to get to know how then do you keep track of your budget vis-a-vis the activities.
Yes.
Issues of risk management. You are also going to work with teams. So you look at how then are you able to manage the teams that you work with. We are looking at issues of donor relation.
Yes.
You are a coordinator. You are going to produce reports. You are going to meet donors. So how then can you communicate to donors? How are you going to comply to
the donor rules and regulations and even requirements?
Exactly. So when you move to middle level to leadership positions, those are some kind of the interview questions.
So how was your first experience interviewing for a project coordinator role?
I can tell you it was...
I know people usually sometimes experience, they call it butterflies.
Butterflies, yes. It was a learning point because number one, I think my first experience was thorough. I did an interview in an organization where I went through 3 stages. One, there was practical. There were number 2, orals. Then there was now... there was written, practical, and orals. So you actually going through one stage, results are released, you get to the next. So we started 6, we went to 3, then went to 2. So once you fail the practicals, you are not given an opportunity to move to
the next step.
To the written. Then orals were the last. One of the things that surprised me is that I went there with mentality that I would be asked about the organizational structure and all those things that I've been doing when I was in the early career interviews. But I came to realize that this was more of strategic thinking, critical thinking, questions, coordination, questions that are really
leadership.
Exactly. Questions that are really looking into your emotional intelligence.
Yes.
A lot of questions that are looking at your soft skills.
Yeah, that's important for viewers to know because based on the job requirements, you can be able, as a candidate or as an applicant, you can be able to measure yourselves against those expectations and see whether you match it or not. And in Career Conversations with Ken, we also give advice to candidates. And we are saying that for you to apply for a particular job, you must evaluate yourself against 75% of those requirements. So if you meet 75%, that's a threshold that qualifies you to apply for those jobs. So in terms of the winnings, you managed to secure this position.
Yes.
What exactly do you think made you stand out against the competition?
What made me stand out against the competition is diversity. It's important in your interviews to actually mention, number one, key achievements. And here we'll tell viewers that you need to quantify your achievements.
Okay.
What have you done over the past years?
Okay.
And how what have you achieved? Number two, what other additional skills do you come with,
or value that you are bringing on board?
Exactly. One key thing, Ken, that I wanted viewers to know is that when we talk about mid-level to leadership positions, they are now not more of the knowledge and the academic, or let's say you are kind of profession. They become more of the skills over time that you have had in the field. So for me, I think what made me be successful is diversity. I have had diverse implementation experience. In the early career interviews. Yes.
And so that prepared you for a higher role, where you had experience in terms of coordination and leadership.
It did.
Yeah, but I know it didn't come easy because, as you say, you probably went out of your way in your earlier roles to be able to learn things that were outside your primary roles and responsibilities.
Yes.
What can you share with our viewers, especially young professionals, who are probably getting their experience from the first job?
What I can share with our viewers who are getting their first experience from their first job is that when you get this job, please do beyond your targets. One thing that I've really realized, Ken, is that recommendations are very key. Recommendation and recognitions are very key in actually growing in your career.
Okay.
There are times that you are successful and the panelists are just waiting for one point to convince them that you're the real candidate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when this is the time that when you have those recommendations and recognitions and you have documents to prove, you can now, these documents will be applied.
So you are talking about these certificates of recognition, or recommendation letters.
Exactly.
Okay.
Even within your organization, there are things to do with the staff of the month, staff of the year.
Oh, yes.
It shows that you overall you are going beyond your job description to just make sure that
things are running in the organization.
Yes. And it actually sells out a very positive feedback about you as a candidate.
Okay. Career Conversations with Ken. This is episode 6. We are discussing today job interview experience and insights, and we are here with Robert Onyando. This is the guy who talked with us in episode 5 about career transitions. He has a wealth of experience in terms of handling job interviews, both as a candidate and also as a panelist. Robert,
yes, Ken.
In the previous conversations, you are sharing with us about your experience as a candidate.
Yes.
Now, you also seem to have a very insightful experience as a panelist.
Sure.
Now that you moved up the ladder and got an opportunity to interview others.
Sure.
Please share with us, what did you see in the candidates that you interviewed? And what learnings can we, share with viewers in terms of interviewing?
Thank you, Ken. As you have said, I can surely say that I've got an opportunity to be in the panel where people are being interviewed for job opportunities. And number one thing that I will start with is that each and every person should know this, that there is no second chance for the first impression.
Okay. There is no second chance for the first impression.
Yes.
And we usually say that first impressions matter.
Yes.
It actually takes only 5 seconds.
Yes.
When you enter into that interview room, for the panelists to know that this is the guy.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So what follows after the impression will just be validating and confirming that this is the guy.
This is the guy,
So
yes.
they would want to, each and every point you will be speaking, they would want to relate it and back to whether you are still the guy or
Yes.
you are losing it.
Yes.
Yes. I would want to tell viewers that if you are preparing for a job interview, number one thing that you must work on is your emotional intelligence.
Emotional intelligence.
Yes. At times, it makes you forget about each and everything that you are prepared for in the interview. You get into the room and just one question
throws you off balance.
And you completely done. And you can't recover.
And I've also learned that there is what they call in interviewing parlance, stress interviews.
Exactly.
Where you are subjected to the extreme, just to test your resilience,
Exactly.
but also to test your emotional balance.
And most of them come in the middle level and leadership positions.
Yes.
Because you
Exactly.
want to handle teams
With different emotional...
Yeah. So we also want to see whether you are emotionally intelligent.
Yes,
So that
to accommodate tantrums.
Yes, because as we say, Ken, teams are dynamic.
Exactly.
Teams are dynamic.
Exactly.
You will have very unique teams. So my experience actually has been, I've interviewed people who the first question has actually just puts them off completely.
Okay.
And one thing that I wanted to tell viewers that normally in
So what is this? Give an example of the first question that put off a candidate.
The first question that puts off a candidate, in most interviews, the first question will be seeking about your career profile. Tell us about yourself.
Yes.
For example, a very simple question. This question would let the interviewers know, let the panelists know that we need to ask more. It should leave the panelists yearning to get more of
It
the
will
person
generate probes.
Exactly. But most of us miss it because from there, you will realize panelists have known and they are saying no.
You will, okay, in the manner in which you respond to that first question, it will either retain interest in your candidacy.
Exactly.
Or panelists will lose interest.
Will lose interest.
Because one, they are going to learn about your communication skills.
Exactly.
And two, they are going to also experience your level of confidence. Three, they are also going to also see whether you can demonstrate that you are technically sound.
Exactly.
You know yourself. Self-awareness is very key.
Very important.
Do you really master who you are? And can you be able to articulate who you are to somebody else when you are given just 10 seconds?
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay.
So Ken, I've seen candidates who do well in written interviews than oral interviews. And most of the time you ask yourself why. It's because they lack that confidence to express themselves before a panel.
Exactly.
I wanted to tell viewers that, and I started by saying that every interview that you go to gives you a lesson to prepare better for the next interview.
Next one.
Whether you get a positive feedback or a negative feedback.
That's very important, our viewers.
Yeah.
That's very important. Sometimes some of us cry profusely when we miss a chance to secure a position after an interview. But what Robert is sharing with us is that based on his experience, it's important to recognize that even by just virtue of participating in that interview itself is good enough for you as a candidate, because then it prepares you for the next.
Exactly.
Yes.
Number two that I wanted to talk about is that in an interview, please honestly acknowledge the gap.
Be honest.
Very honest. Acknowledge the gap. There are times that a question is asked and you have no clue about it.
Yes. It's not criminal to say, I don't have that information.
Yes.
It's a point of learning.
Exactly. You need not to try to answer a question that you really don't know. You will actually destroy your
profile.
Exactly. So be honest about the gaps and let you be told about it, because it's also an opportunity for you.
No, I think that's very important, Robert, because Employers are looking for people who can be able to learn.
Exactly.
And people who are able to appreciate the fact that they can collaborate with people. They can get people who can complement their expertise or their weaknesses. So by acknowledging that you have an area of learning doesn't mean that you are weak.
Exactly.
Yes. But it also gives you additional points because you are somebody who is ready to learn. And I think that is what some panelists are looking for.
And we need to note that employers, actually, the panelist will pardon you if you have a gap in general areas, as opposed to if you have a gap in your professional life.
Yeah.
So you need to be a star in your professional life.
Yes, yes. Don't just slumber. Don't just slumber. Be on top of your game.
Exactly.
Yeah, be on top of your game. Once you have chosen a career,
yes,
be sure that you are able to walk the path.
Yes.
To build yourself, build a profile that can be able to take you to the next level. I mean, you start earning a salary of 25,000. You want to move to 50.
Yes.
You want to move to 80. You want to go beyond 100. How will you get there if you don't improve yourself? It's about self-improvement, but it is also about capacity, building capacity, because building your capacity doesn't necessarily become the responsibility of the employer. First and foremost, it is your responsibility as an individual. Yeah.
Thank you, Ken. There are two things that I want to talk about as an experience of interviewing other candidates. There is this common question that normally comes. Do you have a question for us?
Oh, yes. At the tail end of the interview.
At the tail end, yes. After everything is said and done.
Yes.
Do you have a question for us?
Yes.
Most of us say, no, I think I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I enjoyed the session.
This is the opportunity. This is the opportunity to bring back the conversations that you are not sure about the job interview. You can ask about the scope of the work. You can ask about when can you expect feedback. You get the organization know that you already part of them. You feel like you are anticipating a positive feedback and you know you are the candidate.
Yes, but also, it also demonstrates that you did your groundwork.
Exactly.
And you came as a solution provider.
Yes.
And you came, you are also there to add value to what they are doing as an organization. For instance, you may pose a question as a candidate to an HR director or even to a chief executive officer about his vision about the organization in 5-10 years to come. Yes, exactly. And how they can visualize your role playing out in the next 5 years. That's a very good question for a candidate to ask. Or sometimes you can ask a question about how the day is on a normal day for this particular role.
Yes.
What are some of the tasks that they expect you to do?
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Finally, under interviewing candidates, you must know your worth.
Yes.
And you must do research on organizational remuneration.
The pay structure.
The pay structure.
Wow.
It's always a very simple question. How much do you expect?
I've seen candidates, Robert, who, when they are asked how much they would want to be paid,
yes,
some of them coil,
yes,
and say that, oh, that's a question that I want to throw back to you. I'm ready to go with what you are giving me.
Exactly. So you are posing yourself vulnerable. Two things are actually pegged to this particular question.
Yes.
Number one, your worth should reflect your experience. What is it that is in your CV?
Exactly.
That is number one. Number two, as you answer this question, you should actually know that organizations already have their pay structure.
They have a budget.
They have a budget.
They have a budget. Money has been allocated for this role.
Exactly.
Yes.
So if whether you are within their budget or out of their budget will always prevail.
Yes. Yes. So, and they're looking for candidates who can fit within that,
within
budgetary provision.
Yes.
So, do not be shy. Do not shy away from quoting a specific amount based on your work.
Exactly.
And that, of course, tells us that as a candidate, you need to know who you are professionally and the value that you are going to provide to an employer, because that is what is going to give you the basis within which you are going to negotiate for a better pay at the interview panel. Okay.
Yes.
Quite good. Quite interesting.
Thank you, Ken. I wanted to remind viewers that panelists like people who are being interviewed when you refer to them with their names.
Oh, yes.
During the introductory part of your interview,
They tell you their names.
they tell you their names.
Yes. And I've seen some candidates also carry notebooks and a pen.
Exactly.
But some of them don't even end up using these papers.
Sometimes you'll carry your notebook. In some interviews, you'll be given a foolscap and a pen.
Yes.
And you are wondering, what is this meant for?
for?
Because this is an oral interview. It is not written. Normally, that particular foolscap is meant, one, to document that question,
yes,
so that you can interpret it,
yes,
comprehend it and interpret it in your own.
Yeah.
It is also advisable that before you answer a question, take time.
Take time.
Take time.
Take time.
Remember, this is your time for the interview.
No. Robert, I think you need to say it loud again. I've seen candidates who want to respond pretty fast.
Yeah.
Even before the questioner finishes asking the question, they have already started responding. I think it is important to pause at the end of the question. What that projects is that you are somebody who is a critical thinker.
Exactly.
You take time.
Exactly.
And you are patient.
Exactly.
Yes.
Take time and respond to the question. First, critically think, what is this question actually trying to test?
Yes.
Because if you tackle the question the way it comes,
yes,
you will realize after answering the question, either you will be relevant or you will have answered your own question. Yes. And I wanted to tell viewers that this is your time for interview. The most important thing is that you have actually presented yourself for an interview.
Exactly.
So the panelist will actually give you that time to respond to the questions. And that is your time. Remember,
and hardly they will not interfere with you.
They will never interfere with you.
They will never interfere with you unless you're way off.
Exactly.
And you're wasting their time.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that is it, Ken.
Okay.
For part of the experience that I've had in interviewing other candidates. Because you find, I've also realized as I conclude in this other part, that there are candidates whose CVs don't match their physical appearance before the panelist.
The package you gave in advance
does not look like you.
Congruent with the person who has appeared before the panel.
Exactly. So you left panelists wondering,
are we talking about the same person here?
Exactly.
Yes. And that is true because I've seen people who borrow ideas to develop their CVs.
Yes.
Or they want to misrepresent who they actually are in a bid to win over the shortlisting.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think you said it earlier that in job such experience, it's good for candidates to be very honest.
Be very authentic.
Be who you are.
Be who you are.
Yes.
And above all, just know that whatever is in your CV is also in your head.
Should be in your head.
Should be in your head.
Yes, and you should be able to talk about it without reference to your CV. Yes.
Exactly. Because most of the questions you had asked are tied to your CV.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And at Career Conversations with Ken, we also help people to professionally tailor their CVs to match particular jobs. Exactly. We do not lie, and we do not encourage people to lie about who they are in their CVs. Exactly. We use the information that you provide us to tailor it to suit the expectations of the job that you're applying for. Professionally, so to speak.
Exactly.
Yes.
Ken, finally, before we go to the next stage, I have had experience interviewing people who are just disoriented from the word go. Wow. There is something called phone. I've had experience with candidates who come in to interview and their phones just disorient them.
Because either they left it loudspeaker.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They did not put it in silent mode. So they have to answer the call when it comes.
So you only have either 30 minutes to 1 hour.
Yes.
So either switch off your phone or put it in a silent mode. Because it can really spoil for you the interview.
Exactly.
It can really, I've seen people whose their phones have actually spoiled for them.
Exactly.
Panelists will not wait for you to
go and answer your call.
Or even just switch it off. They won't.
Yes.
And it also express something about you before the panelists.
Yeah. True. Maybe you had not paid a taxi driver who dropped you and you forgot. So he's reminding you when you're in the panel.
Yes.
Okay. So Robert, I think in a summary, in summary, if you want to close this episode, based on all these diverse experiences, what would be your advice to young professionals who going about job search, who are getting opportunities for interviews, and generally, so to speak, in terms of how you can guide them to prepare for their next interview?
Thank you, Ken. There is a number of insights that I've learned in interviews. But then, given time, I want to talk about 5 key things that have actually are lessons. Number one thing is I would tell job seekers to quantify their impact.
Quantify your results.
Quantify your results.
Achievements.
It's very important.
I think, Robert, what I've seen, most young professionals, if you take their CVs, if it is a 5-page document, more than 50% is full with roles and responsibilities.
Exactly.
And not tangible achievements from previous jobs they've had. Yes.
So you need to quantify your results.
Yes.
It's very important.
Yes.
Number 2, Ken, I would say...
what does this demonstrate to a potential employer? Yes.
From quantification of your achievements, your worth is actually openly seen.
And you can also be able to demonstrate that you are results driven.
Exactly.
Yes.
You
are able to help your employer to solve problems.
Exactly.
Yes.
So it's very important.
Yeah, okay.
Number 2, there is need to demonstrate what we call leadership maturity. In mid-level and leadership positions, there are questions, technical questions that you will be asked that are actually testing your leadership maturity. There are normally questions of scenarios, for example.
Yes.
And they will test your leadership maturity. Because it is expected that as a leader, there will be times that you will actually be expected to demonstrate that you are mature enough to overcome a crisis, for example.
True.
Yes.
True. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any other experience?
The third experience is...
like, for instance, in your early experience as a job seeker, fresh from college, there are many young people who are currently finding themselves there.
Exactly.
Yes. What advice would you give them, or insight? Yes, in terms of interview preparation.
You need to be confident. One thing that I tell people who come to interviews is that none of us know you. You are coming to tell us who you are. So it is you who has got your story.
Exactly.
Nobody knows your story.
Exactly.
So come tell your story.
Yes.
And tell it with confidence.
They will listen to what you give them.
Tell it with confidence.
They will listen to what you give them.
Exactly.
Yes.
You can't be shaking while telling your own story.
Trembling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Robert. This is Career Conversations with Ken. We have been having episode 6 about job interviewing experience, and also sharing insights with our panelists here, Robert Onyando. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Please visit our page on YouTube and subscribe to our channel so that you promote our platform to be able to reach more viewers and also more people who are in need of these insights. Thank you so much, and thank you, Robert, for
Thank you, Ken, for inviting me again, and let's do more of this again.
Thank you. Karibu sana.